Ladies and gentlemen, you saw the wave on my left or right. I can't decide which one it is, but it's going to be me, Puffo Bob, and Bose on your desk, caster desk, whatever you want to call it that it may be. It's ESA Season 9, and we're again having a beautiful best of three like we always tend to. Now, Bose, what are we going to be watching today?
Well, today we have a beautiful match coming up here, the last match of the very first round here of the playoffs or the finals or whatever you want to call it, the brackets basically, which is double elimination. We already have 3 matches this week. And well, this is basically the last match to close out the first round to decide which team will accompany the 3 other teams that already are in the upper bracket semifinals and which other team will go to the lower brackets round one next week as well. So this is the match, which is SilentFamily versus Project Black Axe. Both teams would actually did pretty well in the Swiss stage. I quickly will pull up the statistics here. I believe Project Black Axe and SilentFamily actually they both got out in round 4. So this means they lost only 1 match in the Swiss stage while winning 3 of them. So both teams have actually done at a pretty similar level. I believe they were seeded Team 4 and Team 5 after that stage. So this means, in theory, we could expect one of the closest matches of the first week of the playoffs. But of course, we haven't seen these 2 teams play against each other in the Swiss stage, so we also don't know really what we can expect from this match.
Yeah, now of course we talk about these 2 teams, but what are the predictions? What did the staff think is it gonna be? Well, it was quite close, almost it being a 50-50, but SilentFamily just take it up by 6%. Now, of course, I'm gonna ask you this, Bose. Who did you vote for?
Well, we can actually see it right now. I'm the very
Oh,
first one on the visual, actually on that side right there, and I actually voted for SilentFamily. I really think that these 2 teams are very, very close to each other. Maybe the reason that I'm voting for SilentFamily is because they were the most successful team in the qualifiers. Like they qualified as the number 1 team. But in general, there's not really too much information to go off from. Yes, these 2 teams have played against each other 1 time before, not in ESA, but in Voltage League 4 months ago. But then PBX was the victorious team. But in general, I do think that the Italians of SilentFamily do have a pretty good chance here.
and that's going to be my reason was Y2I stuck to PBX due to a bit of the past. You know, there's been a collaboration between the two, and one victor was there, and I'm hoping it for the same victor to be around this time. Now, of course, where are these matches and maps going to be decided? Let's take a look at the map guns here, ladies and gentlemen. You see the first one is going to be on to Consulate, attacking start by the side of, I believe, SilentFamily, just nicely transparent with the background color. Then PBX on Borders, so you know it's about to be mayhem. And for the decider, if of course we get to it, will be none other than Skyscraper. Really excited. These 2 teams, they are very strong, and of course, with it, I mean, I'm excited. Do we have these teams ready or not? Hopefully, we'll be able to pop into the match as soon as possible because I think everyone on stream is just really hyped up. I mean, Bose, is your blood running
Mhm.
or is it not?
Oh, it definitely is. I'm very excited for the match. And as a believer, now seeing the intro video of this first map of the day, which is Consulate, I believe the match is indeed starting. Consulate, the map pick, if I remember correctly, of team SilentFamily. So SilentFamily was the first team to start banning, and they were the first team to ever pick, and they have decided to go to Consulate. I mean, if the viewers from yesterday remember, they might have watched the stream yesterday when we were happening. Thought the team captain of the side of PBX, he's like one of those strategists, like he really knows like how much of a difference you can make with map bans. Like he was really analyzing yesterday how who was playing against MVG yesterday. That was Team Wit, like how they didn't do their best on the map bans. Well, Fod is definitely one of the players who really studies their opponents and has a really good knowledge of what maps to pick and which to ban. So I do think the PBX also had a pretty good strategy when it came to the map bans, and which might have put him like a little bit of an advantage here. But of course, in the end, it really comes down to these maps. And SilentFamily has chosen for Consulates, likely for a good reason. And I'm very curious to see how they will do on this map.
Bose, you mentioned earlier this was going to be the final match of the first round of the playoffs,
Right.
meaning one is destined to either go down and the other up, which is going to be a huge thing because both teams at the end are going to end up fighting quite strong teams. Now, of
Yeah.
course, when we talked about it a bit more in the production side of things,
Hmm.
there's going to be the loser playing against LDL, which is
Yeah.
to be considered one of the strongest teams as of current. And of course, the one on the upper bracket is going to be playing against the winner who took out LDL and none other than Asgard. So both of these teams, you lose as you win, you either give away your lifeline or you keep it just to possibly go against an insanely strong opponent, which, of course, props to both of these. And I'm still hoping to see a beautiful match. And yet again, no one likes any one-sided fights. But before we get into that, that's in the future. Let's stick it to the present right now. And that's going to be the operator bands finished, done and dusted. And take a look at them both. We have both of the shields gone. The Mira, Azami. Any thoughts?
Well, I think all of these operator bans do make total sense. Like, they are very understandable. They are among the top most banned operators in general. Blitz and Monty, I mean, the Shields operators. We're just less than a week away from them finally getting nerfed, finally getting reworked, and finally them being a little bit more fair to play against. I mean, to be fair, the changes are very interesting. I still think the Shield operators will be good operators, but they no longer will be as aggressive as they are right now. And then Mira, Azami, two of the architect operators in a way. I mean, Consulate is such a big map, so many soft walls, so many soft floors, there's so much you can breach here. And both Mira and Azami can really transform the playing field in their favor, in the way they like it to be. And well, I can really understand that they are just being banned from this match.
Without a doubt, you said it, the shield operators. Oh, it took us a bit to get there. And while though I absolutely love that they had their own little time until Siege, because before this big shield meta, they've been really underestimated. They haven't been used as much. And, I love that they have a little part of history Siege as well. Now they're going to be good, not great, and that just puts them in a perfect position, giving a bit more highlight to other operators. Maybe we're going to be seeing Thunderbird, who's receiving a buff, just like I believe the other operators. If there's going to be another operator receiving quite... it's going to be Sen. That's the
Sans is one of them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Sans is an operator I'm really hoping to see more of. Like a producer Nanos always says, like, Sans is just basically a worse version of Glass. Like, Glass has the smokes, he has the thermal scope, so technically he can do more than Sans even can do. But the ability for him to turn off his shielding, like his wall that he can project, is just such a game changer. Like, he can really control what really happens to the gadgets. I was hoping for them to also maybe change something about the vulnerability of the gadgets, which didn't happen. But I think this is already a pretty good change to start with, and I'm just really hoping that this will indeed improve his pick rate and success rate.
And we're talking about picks, and we have the first one. It's going to be Souther onto Glock. Oh, the explosiveness of the C4. It never gets old to me, but what gets old is this Dokkaebi. She is not banned, and everyone's going to be using her. Not if the side of PBX have a say about it. Taking out great intel gathering at very early stages of the game. As we continue towards the lineup, the defense is rocking, and oh, that's going to be a great pre-fire from Peta. What a shot. 3v5 here. SilentFamily, they get shut down one after another. Fod, Fed. Do I read it right? Is it Fed or is it Fod, Bose?
It's Fod. Yeah, Fod.
Oh, it's Fod. Okay. I thought I saw an E. Yeah. Bugs are under my skin. Whatever the case ends up being, though, 2v5. SilentFamily. No response, not a single kill. Gadgets are gone, and it's all left down to guns. But you're working with 2 and you're up against 5. So, yeah, with that HP being low on Rongara, who's now out of the match, are we going to have a first flawless?
It might potentially just happen, because there's not just even a single kill from the side of SilentFamily, but not even a single bit of damage either. Like, all members of PBX are full on HP, meaning they just haven't received any damage from their opponent, not even from themselves. So right now, Timo finds himself in a very difficult situation. Yes, he has a minute. There's this typical situation where people get very, very aggressive, play very risky, but in the end, it doesn't all matter, because in the end, it's Sutter getting that final kill on the board. He did take a bit of damage. At least SilentFamily has done some damage this round, but in the end, it's PBX securing their very first round flawlessly, even without a single player dying. And this puts them on a very nice start, and which is also a very nice statement, really, towards our opponents, like really showing what damage they can do, what they're capable of, and it's just really setting a tone.
I'm not too confident in it. I don't really like this start. Yet again, it's the first round. It could go south any second for PBX here, and SilentFamily could wipe them off the map with any move. It could be a 7-1 for all we know. Yet again, we can't predict it too much, but just looking at the very start, PBX, that aggression, we saw it come out left, right, and center. There was not a grasp of air for SilentFamily to catch on. And that's what makes them so brutal. They came out swinging from behind of every single enemy. The C4 from below completely disrupted the wavelength that SilentFamily was rocking. And from then on, there was no answer. They were given a question, but they were just stuttering word after word. We saw a kill from the behind of the back. They asked in a 1v1 situation, maybe even 2v1 for all we know. But the end is that PBX, they took every single angle, every single corner, and somehow turned it into their own advantage. which is a great way of really showing why defense is strong. The building is yours, use it as you can. It's your site, and now you have to defend it. They did that well. They got themselves the first round of the upstairs. We move downstairs where we keep a similar lineup when we're talking about that Vigil Mute Goyo, and I absolutely love the Baji. Just please nerf it, Siege. Ubisoft, we need that boomstick to be a bit lower on the HP count.
Yeah, I don't know, Puffer, whether you have actually taken a look at the statistics for this map, for ESA specifically, but this is actually a quite defensive favorite map. This is a 57% defensive favorite map in ESA Cup Season 9. So in a way, it's also understandable that PBX will have a bit of an advantage here. They picked the defense for a very good reason, because Console generally just has a very defensive favorite side here on ESA Cup. And well, yeah, like what we can expect, we can definitely expect PBX doing very well here. 2 versus 4 score, split score will definitely be expected, or wouldn't be a bad thing for either of the teams, or not per se a good thing for either two teams. And whatever SilentFamily does, as long as they get a few runs here on the board on the offense, they might have a good chance. And with them getting the opening kill there onto VOD, that's definitely a good start, a much better start than they had in the previous round, as now they're starting with a little advantage here.
Definitely the advantage. Put that insinuation onto the verticality that's being output by none other than Mercs. That's going to be the ramp. Beautiful usage. You don't need the buck if you can multi-manage with one drone being out and you still have that R4C in hand. Bajji still above. Throwing an impact to maybe disturb or maybe even confuse the enemies, but making your way down to yellow here is going to be a huge way of playing it. There's going to be that drone. A peek from the ash. Shut down by one. And a quick reach right here for Glock as he finds himself the second into the round. Good way of managing and being close to your teammates. If in case one goes down, you're there to back him up. 4v3 situation. We still have a minute and 20, so the attackers, they're in no rush without a doubt. The breach, I believe, was out. So the Thermite, he's making good progression. And in the meanwhile, we have to hold our angles tightly here at PBX, because when you're such a man disadvantage, it's going to be tough to fight. C4 comes out from below. Oh, Mercs, 1 HP, but he still gets the kill.
And this is definitely SilentFamily doing so much better than the first round. Right now, they're finding themselves in a 4 versus 1 situation. Not a flawless run like PBX managed to pull off, but still a victory nonetheless. So this is definitely like SilentFamily showing that the very first round didn't matter that much. It doesn't set a statement. It doesn't mean anything for how the remainder of this map is going. They're showing that they're very much capable of winning offensive rounds even on the map of Consulate, and they're definitely not to be counted out yet. So great second round here from SilentFamily as well to equalize the score to a 1-1.
Oh my. Such a small difference, and it would have been maybe even an outcome for PBX. Now that C4, positioned it a bit more to the left, a bit more back, and that HP would have been gone. With it, would have been also that 2k removed that SilentFamily achieved. In the end, though, yet again, you make the smallest mistakes, it's still your blunder, and you're still going to be the one punished for it. Eating up the consequences, PBX now equalized, but SilentFamily ready to make a nice way of turning the tides. You did say this was a bit more of a defender-sided map, and while though I could agree, in the end, the first half is what matters. If you're on the defense, PBX, get that 3-3 at least. Get that 4-2 so you can have a nice little foundation for yourself going into the second. Because if you're going to be in a deficit, in a minus, to say the least, especially when you're on the defense, SilentFamily are going to be sweeping up their map without a doubt. Now, the other one is going to be Border, and that's going to be PBX's pick. And while though we can already see from the gameplay, they're really confident in their gunfights. They go in swinging, they like it or not. Whatever the case ends up being, they are positive that they're going to win 1v1s, and they tend to. If it's a 2v1, their Vigil earlier didn't come out on top, but still, it's going to be a nice one to see Border. We have to get to it, though, and I think that SilentFamily here really put up a nice foundation. They went for the verticality, although putting the Ram alone into Piano to be flanked out by, let's say, Visa side, maybe even Spiral Stairs. That's a bit of a danger cause. Could end up leading to your own loss, but yet again, they took the risks, they won the gamble, and they're walking home with the jack.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I'm seeing here is we went for a blitz and multi-ban. So what we're seeing, diffuse with the shield, and this actually makes very sense. They want to go for a very aggressive push. They're rushing into the bomb site, they're getting kills after kill. They lost one player, but it's now a 4 versus 2 situation. Double the man count for SilentFamily, which is a perfect situation for them to go for the plants. Pete, however, with the kill onto Glock, finds diffuse with the shield, gets knifed, gets injured, gets finished, and now it's a 3 versus 1 with the diffuser on the floor. Just 40 seconds remaining, but it doesn't matter because Marcus, or whatever, however I pronounce his name, gets the kill on to the final defensive player who was playing up top, had perfect verticals, but there was just no chance to respond in time. The members of SilentFamily moved so incredibly fast and completely surprised and overruled the side of PBX. Beautiful.
Wow. Wow, that's certainly a nice way to throw off your enemies. And I think teams do like to do that. They try to take these really passive plays yet again in the previous rounds as well. They were kind of sticking back to their own guns, going by the book. And in the first round as well, where PBX were really the one upkeeping that type of aggressive position. And right into the third round, the second they get one, they want to keep up that type of tempo to get the fourth, to get the fifth, whatever the case ends up being. In the end, SilentFamily, they completely throw off PBX. Now only going for a bit more of a safe play style to a complete polar opposite, rushing in, taking gunfight after gunfight, and there just wasn't enough gadgets nor people to contest it. No one was in their position to specifically focus on that one door. And of course, Incandela is being popped left and right. Yeah, no good response. BBX, we're back upstairs. We won the first one. Can we do the second? That's the question. We've done a full side rotation. Now we can equalize it out. I'd say at the very first, it's quite traditional that we see 1-1, 2-2, maybe even 3-3. It's only that difference at the very end that tends to happen. But yet again, if SilentFamily get this round, they've confirmed themselves a draw into the attack, which is already excellent.
That would indeed be very, very good for them as well. And I was just very impressed. Even it was only yesterday when I was thinking, when are we going to see the fuse with the shield again? Well, today we finally see it happen again in a very beautiful rush. All the main shield operators being taken off the board on the offense by the operator bands, but of course, the fuse shield was still remaining. No longer a recruit shield. That's no longer a thing, as we now have striker, of course. But the fuse shield definitely one that I didn't see coming, but I was very happy to see after such a long time, and it was very well utilized. Right now, like you already said, SilentFamily on 2 rounds, which is technically already a pretty decent start for them. Like even if it stays to the 2 rounds, they have a pretty good opportunity once we go to the roll swap. But of course, they are looking to add even more rounds to the board and potentially turn it into 3-3, or even go into the roll swap with an advantage, which will be phenomenal. But for now, we're starting off this round with the first minute already passing by. Attackers looking for a way in, not doing any damage yet whatsoever, but also not taking any damage. So a bit of a slower start compared to the previous round, which is totally fine.
I don't think anything can be faster than the previous round. I think that's the main issue here. There's nothing that can be speedier than it besides putting 5 Ash players on one run, maybe a Fink boost in the meanwhile. Taking admin quite quickly though. SilentFamily, we have a minute 30. We talk about time a lot, but it's really essential, especially on big maps like Consulate, like Cafe, like Bank, where there's roamers all around the map, but we take a horizontal fight. The site is at the very top. Maybe sometimes people do like implementing the bug from below, but that doesn't tend to go out well for anyone. You just have to watch out for these stairs, long this, and especially the connector. That's when people come swinging in. A nice breach to make yourself a late entry for the plant, possibly, maybe even just a cutoff rotation, or of course, keep Project Black X from peeking out themselves. There's a lot of purpose this tends to do, but as we slowly head in, those are going to be drones out, just like PETA, and Mercs with an opening. That's going to be the AK-12. Pete, you had no chance. The Mozzie's gone, so is the C4, I believe. Just speaking of it, it's going to be followed by Ragara's one, the second for Mercs, and a nice little trade out for Pizza. But, of course, is the slicing done? No, it's not! It's a second one with a shotgun. Finds himself 2, but 3 remain, and are you good enough for them? It's still a disadvantage. You're working with 30 seconds, slowly ticking down. One walking right into Vods' lines of sight. Not the best situation. Low on HP, I wouldn't say so. Lower than SilentFamily, definitely PBX, but you're working with a lot. You still have some utility. The C4 is gone for Pizza, but I think he can rack up some extra. Close range quarters is where it's at. That SMG-11 shotgun combo, chef's kiss. Absolutely beautiful. And the Alliance is going down. This is where it gets huge. There's no smokes. And there's Timo. Onto Fod and Timo again. Onto Pizza. Eats him out. And that's a round equal. Actually, SilentFamily with a third. Really dangerous here for PBX.
Yeah, SilentFamily doing more than expected. It's like 3 rounds on the offense on a map like Consulate, which is so defensive favored in ESA. I mean, this only means good news for SilentFamily. Even if they lose the upcoming 2 rounds and bring us to a 3-3, then in theory, statistically, they should have a very good chance on things, or working things in their favor and working things to a favorable ending score, a win, of course, which I mean, once they go to their defense. So a 3 is already a very good amount of rounds gained here on the offense. There's only more to be gained. They can possibly still turn this into a 4-2 or even a 5-1, which will be crazy if it happens. And it's basically all over for PBX on this first map. but at the same time, yeah, like a free free is still possible. But this is again Silent Family's map pick, so you wouldn't pick this knowing that your opponent has the chance to pick the starting side, which likely was going to be defense anyway. So Silent Family was definitely prepared and comfortable to play on the offense first on this map, and they're really showing us why.
Heading into round number 5, Bows, we have 2 more in the first half. Time is flying by, but so are the kills left and right. It all comes down to what tends to be the execution that really works out for one team rather than the other, and the majority of it has been towards Silent Family's pivot, mostly because, yet again, they have that burst. They have a nice little setup, while Project Black Eggs, they bring out that raw aggression. Yet again, the very early picks, they get them one after another, one after another. They get the trade one after another, but in the end, it's Silent Family. They have a good burst. They have, like, focus into one point and then just shoot it through. They're good at it. And as long as they can focus it into being alongside with a goodly planned and an even better executed execution, they're looking at themselves with a possible 4-1, 4-2, whatever the case ends up being, though. FOD, this is what I was talking about. That raw aggression brings it out throughout the consistency of the match, but just the very end is where PBX lack.
Yeah, PBX definitely needs to stay alive towards the end of the round so we really have an advantage here and really have a possibility on the offense. Because in the end, of course, rounds always kind of really favor the defense as time works in the favor. So you really need that manpower, especially towards the end of the rounds. And starting with a 4 versus 5 pretty early on is not a good thing. Especially losing the Ash could have been very useful. It's a good fragging operator. Also has some nice utility to do some soft breaching. Well, they definitely have to do without it. And especially with Vigil, almost getting a potential kill there on one of the players repelling in. It could have gone very bad here for the side of Silent Family, but luckily the player stayed alive a little bit longer and might actually be able to do something more for the team. However, time, only 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. Now finally, sorry, I was about to say the Vigil gets found, but no, the Vigil finds a player onto Yugo. That's Yugo getting killed, leaves a bit of 3 versus 5 in a very good position here for the side of Silent Family.
Good swing out from FOD, down onto Pete. Not the best, but yet again, PBX 4v2 technical, never mind, 5v2, taking it right out of my mouth. Ollie still holding a really strong position, making sure that Dong Desk is taken holdage of. But oh, Timo, he comes out swinging. This is why we love the IQ. That LMG is really dominant. Glock as well. Speaking of LMGs, they both rock one. The go canisters are popped, so as long as those really extinguish and the flames are gone, we can slowly make our way into sight. But is that going to be allowed? Definitely not going towards bathroom. That's not an ideal, especially with the shotgun pizza. He showed it earlier why he shouldn't be messed with. But in the meanwhile, it's a down on Takapitao. The last one standing here is going to be Timo, who does find one nasty kill onto Pete, tries to down and finish up, but in the meanwhile, the Goo is going to be restricting one's movements and at the same time possibilities. Oh, a C4 comes out from Pizza. Yet again, he's shown himself to not be only close range, but if he chucks that
Nice
C4
throw.
large enough, the dream's there.
That was a nice throw, like a very long distance C4 thrown to basically the maximum distance it can travel. Finding those 2 players. If that last player would have been able to go for the revive, then things might have ended very differently here for the side of Silent Family. But a nice closure here from the side of PBX, bringing us to the 3-2, which now could technically still become the 3-3 split score. But at the same time, Silent Family, who has really shown us they can do some real damage here on the offense, could still turn this into 4-2. And if you especially look at the bomb side we're going now to, it's that ground floor again. Well, maybe not the most representative round as it was a rush, which completely surprised the side of PBX. Of course, PBX is going to be more prepared for this time. They're bringing along the Capcan and the Legion, 2 beautiful operators to slow down any potential rush, accompanied by the Warden, if any smokes will come out as well. But I also highly doubt that Silent Family will be that predictable and, well, basically redo the same thing. Of course, right now, Silent Family will go for a more traditional kind of clear, potentially go for the top 4 first to gain at least the top 4 control, and then go for the bomb set itself. And I think, yeah, like I said, I think we'll get a bit more of a traditional kind of clear from Silent Family, very different than we saw in round 3.
I hope they don't rush. Earlier it may have worked. This time there's a Capcan and a Legion, so, you know, those booby traps and goo mines don't tend to go quite easy on fast and hasty players. But I'm expecting a 3-3 at least. I feel like Silent Family had their little rush of rounds come through. It was those 3 that they really managed to bring up. And PBX, they're looking to return that favor, get into the running motion of things, and get themselves another 2 in return. To just have a nice little balance between the 2. It definitely shows that it's not going to be one-sided, hopefully, as long as that second half doesn't show it. In the meanwhile, taking a look at the lineups, I don't think anything has changed. I do love the incorporation of the Valkyrie. The information on this operator is absolutely phenomenal, and it's either her or Mira that would get banned on this map, and yet again, maps that are really big like Cafe and Bank. Taking a look towards round 6, this is the last one underway into this first half, and before the role swap, that's what's so huge. If we get a 3-3, yet again, SilentFamily, they're going to have a bit of a heads up in general, not only ESA statistics, but also statistics for general Siege. Consulate has like, what, 53% windage, and although it's not anything major, it still shows that people just prefer being cozied up in sight.
Yeah, I just quickly checked. 55% is the average here for Consulate in general. So he's a slightly more defensive favorite than general, but that doesn't matter that much. In the end, it's a very defensive favorite map. So we're definitely hoping and expecting the side of PBX to get at least one more round here on the board. While the side of SilentFamily actually making a relatively quick entry again. Already here inside of the lobby. Already the buck coming out. The first opponent is already in the bomb set, ready to go for a plant. Yes, the verticality is there, so they could technically counter easily from above. But he's also being covered. They know the verticality is there, but in the end, did he just... No, he actually stick the plant. The plant has been finished. Yes, it is a 3 versus 4 as 2 attackers lost a life to the C4, but a 3 versus 4 is definitely still very workable for the attackers as the timer is now counting against the defenders. They need to retake their own bomb site, find a way in, and they still have 7 seconds at least remaining to still successfully defuse the diffuser. So a very tricky situation for them to be in. A 3 versus 4 attackers defenders are getting closer and closer. They still have to find where the diffuser is planted, really. But with the warning in play, being able to loot the smoke and already being able to get to the diffuser, especially with every single attacking member losing their lives to the hands of the defenders, there's plenty of time remaining for this warning to defuse the diffuser and get also a third round on the board for PBX as well to put this first half on a 3-3 split.
Yeah, that's where SilentFamily did a bit of a slip up here. When you take PBX's site, when you go into this defense, when verticality is a major aspect, of course, at the same time, you want to cut off the rotation back down to the first floor or second floor in the situation, since we still have to count in basement. But besides that point, in the end, when people are going to be going back down, you have to make sure that those stairs are covered, or at least a set of them. In majority, if people are going to be coming down and you're stuck between a sandwich of all players just rushing to go for that site retake, you're going to be the victim, and that's without a doubt was shown in that triple kill that appeared out of nowhere, as if, of course, there was no contestation in the first place from SilentFamily. They get the plant out, they do it fast, a nice little 1-for-1 between the Buck and C4. That's great to see, and of course the second kill does come out with the C4, but at the end, you had players all stuck in one room just for people to mow them down time after time again. Not the ideal situation. We work with it, but it's a 3-3. Now SilentFamily on this defense. If it was 4-2, I'm just saying, would have been even better, but they're on the defense. That's what matters. They have the percentages, and odds are with it. PBX, what are you going to respond with? Well, a very similar lineup, to say the least, but hopefully we're going to be seeing some changes, because here from SilentFamily, we're seeing an addition of a new operator. It's going to be none other on Mercs with the Echo.
Yeah, and of course, if SilentFamily can do it, then so can PBX. It's definitely possible. They have shown it. So PBX can definitely do the same thing and bring us to a 6-6 split, which would then take us to overtime. But for now, yeah, well, it's definitely SilentFamily in a bit of a favorable position. The side of PBX, now here on the offense, while SilentFamily was quite aggressive and quite effective on entering the building quite quickly, our eyes are now focused on the side of PBX. How will they play? Will they play as aggressive, or will they have a more of a passive play? Will you play on the time and really do all the damage in the last 30, 60 seconds? We'll see how things going. Already, like, here, bits of utility being used, walls being opened, doors being opened. They seem to know about a player being in the basement, potentially being aware that he might go for that garage breach, or I don't know even how that room is called. Help me out, Buffalo?
Yeah, I think it's just garage.
It's garage, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's bottom basement garage. Although, again, with a bit more sneakiness on PBX. We see that Nook coming out to play. Ability in use. Joe's just waiting for the guns to be popped any second now. Oh, Jugo, he comes out swinging. It's unexpected. And of course, the C4. We've been seeing it so commonly from PBX, so why not from SilentFamily? It's a defensive. It's the same site. So, of course, verticality is going to be used, especially on a site when so much of the floor is covered by simple wood. Nice breaches out, going to be working in Souther's favor. Just like that, SMG-12 being popped on the kill feed by Pizza, taking slice after slice, and himself being one as Glock is going to be taking, of course, reaping in his benefits, but not as long as Ollie has a say about it. 2-2 situation, we still have so much time that it shows both of these teams are not backing off of any gunfights, proactivity and an all-time high, but it's questionable to see that it's always the defenders bringing the fight to the attackers.
Yeah, you would expect the other way around, of course, as the defenders naturally have a bit of more of a passive play style, while attackers have more of an aggressive play style, which of course is needed as the time works in the favor of the defenders. But right now, it really seems like the defenders are playing extremely aggressive indeed, which brings us to a 2 versus 2 situation with just 45 seconds right now remaining on the clock. Really, if it can really go either way from this position on forward. It can really go in either way. The defenders are a bit spread out. They're just waiting for information on those attackers. Not already potentially heading into the bomb site or getting at least very close to it. Of course, using her ability to stay off the cameras, to stay away from those cameras and just stay out of sight. But of course, the Echo is going to be a big problem. Echo can use his drones, especially if they're still intact. But of course, also the IQ has been brought. With a little bit of time remaining, she could quickly scan for those. But of course, the time is running very short. C4 in the hands here of Timo, who could very well use it to throw C4 and go for the deny the plant, which he does, but the knock sneaking in, finding the kill, denying that Warden, which brings us to the 1 versus 1. The Echo versus the knock, but it's the Echo with the final kill, securing the round here for the defensive sides of SilentFamily, putting the score on 4-3.
SilentFamily could have really used the advantage of the Nook. Two players splitting up. The Echo, if he's on the drone, he would not have seen that Nook. Could have sneaked into sight, maybe killed out both of the remaining players. And also, as we've seen how common the explosives are, why stick so together? In the end, yes, they split up and one going into sight. That C4, if it would be chucked when both of these players were hand in hand next and below the default camera, right, pushing into sight, it would have been over for both. In the end, though, the Goyo canisters play a huge part into the gameplay, also lowering Ollie's HP to quite enough just for a quick job over for SilentFamily. They get that 4-3 and yet again pick up the leverage, get back in the driver's seat, ready to get it to gear 2, and at the same time, a second round following, possibly if they can win it out. And we talk about these new additions. Solus, the newest operator. I love seeing her. Maybe she's not new, but at the same time, she's really interesting to see. It really separates her from all gadgets. You know, you have Twitch, you have Flores, all this is for like destruction of utility. You can compare some of them. Solus, I don't know who you can even compare her to.
Yeah, for now with the 4-3 score, SilentFamily reclaiming the lead after being in the lead for the very first half. But now after they switch to the defense, the more favorable position, they have reclaimed that lead again, putting another 4-3 score, where they're now going to, technically go to one of the stronger bomb sites, the basement, one we have, of course, seen before as well. I'm very curious to see how the side of SilentFamily will actually be defending this against the side of PBX, and how PBX will be attacking it. We're seeing a Dokubi and a Jackal being locked in, two operators which are really pointing to a proper and thorough clear of the building, making sure there's no roamers laying around, and they can really focus on the bomb site itself without needing to worry of any roamer still roaming around. So that's what's kind of pointing at here from the side of Project Black X. And which definitely makes sense. Once the floor is cleared, they can really put some verticality, which makes it very difficult to play on site as well. And with the various hatches and the walls that can be opened, they can make it very difficult to play on site once every roamer is cleared.
Just waiting for that first kill to drop. Yet again, we're already 2 minutes in, or let's have 2 minutes remaining. It's gonna happen any second. Don't get me calls around. That's gonna be not much of a counter. We don't have the mute on board, so just cancel it out, and that's a simple equation. But putting it all into Formula, that's gonna be quick pushing from Pizza. But you have to watch out for Jugo, who's taking out your teammates, and he's still on 30 HP, just running away. Could be transitioning quickly, but does he do it quickly enough? Yes, he does. Back to sight, like if he wasn't there in the first place. Glock comes out, takes as well. In the meanwhile, Pizza taking out one from behind, and a second one on that SMG-12. You don't even need the Bosch G as long as you have Glock on the job. And Jugo following right after. A nice little collaboration between the two. And the last one as well. What? When did it all go wrong? Project Black X, you're already 2 behind. And it seems like we're back to that 3-1 score we were headed earlier.
Yeah, SilentFamily really showing why Consulate is their map pick, being on a 5-3 score, just 1 round away from being on the map point, and 2 rounds away from even winning this map, which is also the amount of rounds they are ahead of their opponent right now. So PBX for SilentFamily definitely in a very good position. And like I said, showing why Consulate was indeed a good map pick for them, both being comfortable on both the defense and the offense. And PBX on a bit of a struggle here, where they kind of need to put some extra effort here to work things back in their favor, as it is not right now. Even though if they do end up losing this map, it's not the worst thing, of course, because this, like I said, this is SilentFamily's map pick. The next one, which is going to be PBX's map pick, is going to be Border, so definitely we could expect a bit of more success there on the side of PBX. But for now, SilentFamily is doing very well.
SilentFamily already have a grasp of more rounds than they did on any map in their previous encounter. So if this goes PBX's way, they need to win 4 rounds in a row, maybe even more if we tend to put in the situation that it does go out of regulation and into overtime. But we need to get to it. These are the important rounds. PBX, you can't allow a single one for SilentFamily here, because if they do, yet again, they confirm that overtime at least. And of course, if it keeps on going for an extra round after that, in the 2-3 that you need to secure, it's 7. It's 7, and that's a win in regulation. A lot on the line, and PBX, they took that into account. Also taking one out of account is going to be Jugo, the castle. Not much utility taken off it. Of course, the castle barricades are still there standing. Would have been a better pick onto the pulse, onto the Legion. Maybe even the Rooney playing upstairs. Otherwise, it's still a gun off the board. It's one disencountered. One dropping onto heads. This is going to be a close encounter. Good pre-fire, not successful. But what's happening here? 2 players dropping down. SilentFamily helping each other out on the defense.
Yeah, the Bull's definitely in a very difficult situation as he is about to be surrounded by various attackers. I mean, he needs to be very careful. Of course, he has his scanner. He can know when he knows exactly when they are coming and where they're coming from. Great use of the gadgets. There could be logical coming out as well to pinpoint those defenders even a little bit more easily and distract them even further. With a 4 versus 5, that's what the round is continuing with for right now. 1 minute and 50 seconds still on the clock, so attackers still have a proper amount of time to make a nice entry into the map here. Find additional defenders, but as Marcus finds a kill onto Pete, as Sutter finds a kill onto Marcus, a nice refrag there. We're now finding ourselves in a 3 versus 4, where also Rigora playing as the mute is getting damaged quite a bit as well. Only 25 HP remaining. That's only 20% of his total HP. Then getting finished there by vods, which puts PBX on a nice 2 versus 4 advantage with half of the round still remaining.
Glock scouting out for some heads. Can he peek him out? Leaning into the left. It'd be great. You see some feet, you go for a wall bang, and in the end, you claim out Souther. Good start. We get the track running. In the end, though, you need an extra 1 to equalize it out, but it's only brought against you for 2, and in the end, doesn't work out a single blit. That's going to be a great way of utilizing the defender's strategy against the roll. The footholds are going to be against you, and with it, PBX finally get around it. It was a bit of a struggle. It was that 5-3 yet again. Took him a second and took him a realization, but here, they win it out. They don't need a tactical timeout to reset the tempo because they can just hire up their own. SilentFamily, you're 1 in front. You really want to get that 6th round in. Definitely you want to listen to me here because over time, if of course PBX get to the 6th round first, that is going to be so much pressure, so much burden on your shoulders, and at the same time, it's going to be really difficult to work against.
Yeah, indeed. It was a very good moment here for PBX to finally at least win one of those offensive rounds, the first offensive round for them as well. And well, there was not a second too late. Like, if they didn't get it this round, then they would have filled themselves in a very pressured situation. The 6-3 definitely wouldn't have been good. But a 5 versus 4 looks so much better than a 6-3. And well, they definitely have some potential here. Like, even if SilentFamily wins the upcoming round, then it's only a 6-4, and PBX needs to win two rounds in a row to still bring us to overtime. But we're now only 1 round away. So if they manage to win a round right here and right now, they'll bring us to a 5-5 score, which looks even better for them. So suddenly this match looks like it's going to really go either way.
Definitely can. I do like that SilentFamily actually incorporate the dock as well. We've been seeing a lot of people leave out gunfights with extremely low HP, especially the IQ later on 1 or earlier on that 1 HP did get taken out, but yeah, and it was the attacker. In the end, though, both of these gunfights do tend to end with a victor, and alongside it, low HP. Glock, he takes out Peter, and that's going to be a nice one. Doesn't take a lot of HP. I don't think a dock sim is going to be required unless you really want to secure that 1 bullet opportunity, and that's going to be it.
Oh, yeah.
Also, a bit of a boost if we want to go into early aggression, if anyone's going to be up for it. The attackers do tend to take this Visa and admin side quite quickly, essentially because you get those breaches in, you get yourself a nice line of sight, and playing against East is just not something that people tend to work with.
No, it is 5 versus 4 situation. There's still over 2 minutes remaining for the attacking side. So yes, they have lost their man advantage, but they have a pretty good opportunity to do things better, equalize the man count, or even gain an advantage here. C4 being thrown but not connecting. Pizza with a killer onto Glock, equalizes the man count with a 4 versus 4. Everyone else full on HP at the moment. So fair and square playing field here but loads of time remaining for either side, lots of time for the defenders to cover, to survive, to pull through, while the attackers have plenty of time to work with. And as Pizza is using it very well, he finds Hugo, takes care of that annoying Vigil, one of the harder operators to deal with, as he's just so hard to drone, so hard to pinpoint. At least he's been dealt with as well. And with this 3 versus 4, things are now looking favorable for the side of PBX.
Really needs to cut Pizza up here. He's been on a spree. 2 kills already. Really right into the rounds. Could be even gathering more for all we know. Although Surther, not good.
Ooh,
Ali
double.
either. 6 foot under. You bolt a casket for them. And
Triple.
Tamu, that's going to be the bailiff. A triple out of nowhere. And Regara there as well to follow up. A quad kill for SilentFamily to bring it out of 0 to 100 and a round back for themselves. Those it's 6 rounds for them. They could finish it out if PBX don't back up 2 in a row, and this is really dangerous.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. This went from a round that looked very favorable for PBX to one where they got completely destroyed in a very short amount of time. Of course, thanks to the triple kill that happened there from the side of SilentFamily. Beautifully done. And this has put SilentFamily here on the map point for the very first map of this evening. Out of the upcoming 2 rounds, they only need to win a single round. So there is even a little bit of room for error, room for a mistake right here for SilentFamily, which puts them in a very nice and comforting situation. In general, they have been doing pretty well here on the defense. They have won 3 out of the 4 rounds so far, while PBX, of course, find themselves in a very struggling, very tense situation right here, where there's like a lot of pressure on themselves, because of course they need to win the upcoming 2 rounds without losing a single to still bring this map to overtime, to still have a chance to win this very first map of the evening, because otherwise SilentFamily isn't going to take it. But then of course PBX has the advantage that their map pick still has to be played, where of course they will have some nice opportunities.
Yeah, they're going to have to put the money where their mouth is, because if they don't win out border, it's still lower bracket, and it's LDL you play against. Not much of a better situation for Silent, who are going to go up against Asgard, but if they couldn't win out that match, you know, give credit where it's due. Definitely something they can back up, though. But in the end, both teams, they tend to go against strong teams, but it's just that lifeline that they're playing for. That keeping yourself in the top bracket and then going against a stronger team, which gives you a nice little safety rod in case you lose, you still move down into this double elimination that we really need here. Both teams, it's a lot on the line, and with it, if the first map is won, the second one as well, if SilentFamily continue this real good tempo onto the second and upkeep the wavelength, I think they're going to have no issue going up against Asgard. A possible good contender. We have to see it in action, though. Regora, that shotgun on Legion, I have never been a fan of it, and neither is Pizza as he brings him down. Good early pick, nice little starter here, but can we continue it? Because consistency is something that PBX have been good with, although it's the execution, yet again, live up to it.
Yeah, things definitely starting good here for the side of PBX, but they are playing on the offensive side. They are the ones who need to put the aggression, bring the aggression here, and that's definitely working as Ollie gets a kill there onto Hugo as well. So a 3 versus 5 situation very early on onto this round. However, Glock then fighting back, the former MVP of round 1, I believe, of this competition, of Swiss. He now finds the kill there onto Ollie, brings the playing field to a 3 versus 4, does get damaged quite a bit in the process, so any future gunfight will get very tricky for him, especially with that Boss G as main weapon. But for now, at least, the 3 versus 4 is still looking favorable here for the side of PBX, who definitely needs these rounds.
20 HP on Glock. Seeing as he's the roamer, he's wasted countless seconds. Same time, though, PBX, you have a player above. Don't let this slip by so easily. It's a great opportunity. Just need to put the cherry on top and claim out a round 5. And then another one, and we're going to the full overtime. But that is needed first. We have to take the first steps in order to get into the running motion of things. So play from upstairs could be very unexpected, and this could be an early kill here for Silent if they do pick it up. Oh, the Boss G! It's used at a pixel peek, and Glock, he finds himself a nice secure, as so does Pizza onto Merc's double kill for him. He has really been picking up these players if they were slices themselves. Getting it out of the box, it's a nice establishment of this man count yet again. 3v2 situation, verticality coming out. Glock, you have to play your footing correctly. If one catches you for one bullet, it's going to be over in a second, and that's what I was was talking about. Pete, he finds Glock. It's all left down to Timo, who does almost claim a headshot, but almost won't quite cut it. The plant is going down. There's plenty of time for these attackers to work with, and PBX, they have secured themselves almost a nasty round. It's just about to get there. A nice little shot out for Timo. Yet again, the Vector is an excellent gun in post-blind situations, but not much of a matter when you're up against this Dokkaebi.
Yeah, right now we're finding ourselves in a 6-5 scoreline, which just means the upcoming round is going to be extremely decisive. Either SilentFamily is going to win with a 7-5 score and is going to take us to the next map right away, or we will see the side of PBX win yet another offensive rounds, put the score on a 6-6 scoreline, and take us to the overtime here for this very first map of the evening. Whatever it happens, I would love any of them. A 7-5 is a beautiful score. A 6-6 makes the match even more interesting and makes me very excited for the second map as well, which we're definitely going to see, of course, no matter the outcome. But this first map being so extremely close between these two teams, yes, kind of makes me hoping that we will see a very close next map as well, and potentially even a very close decider map as well.
Would be great to see. Would be fantastic. Can one of these two teams, though, get themselves a comfortable end? I think SilentFamily is the only one who can do that. 7-5. Set our eyes on it. SilentFamily and Project Black X. One is fighting to get kept up into this map, while the other is looking for a clean finish within regulation. Keep all 12 rounds in and finish on the 12th. We head out of the preparation phase into the action phase, and taking a look at the lineups, because every single round from this one on could be a possible final, I'd say, into this first match of the series. We have, yet again, we've been keeping up Glock, and I believe it was also Surther. I'm not too sure who on PBX was playing the Vigil, but I'm very sure that both of these teams have been consistent on them, and the only team that's been really using out that Scopos has been SilentFamily. Now, we take a bit more of a direct and vertical approach, or SilentFamily here. They tend to still go for this roam yet again. Keep in mind that this is a big map, a lot to clear out. That's why we have the IQ to maybe spot out the Vigil, also go for quick gadgets.
Yeah, a bit of a slower approach here from the side of PBX, just making sure there's nothing on the roam there, like we have seen SilentFamily do before as well. Like, as long as you just take the extra efforts, make sure there's no one on the roam, no potential dangers, which there is, of course, is the Vigil, which is believed is on the roam right now. Which is by making sure you have cleared those, you can start fully focusing on the bomb site a little bit later than usual, yes, but it will pay off, as there's only then 3 staircases you need to watch after that, that's where the defenders can eventually then come from. So it makes a little sense for PBX to go for a bit more of the bigger clear here, as well, it would be advantageous for them if they manage to find those roamers, but of course they do need to do so. Almost half of the rounds are already expired and they haven't made a proper entry so far, so they are definitely being slow about it. And we can see that Jugo, playing as Scopus, is currently playing here on the ground floor, where Glock, which is now getting his first kill, is playing on the top floor, finds speed, takes out the bucket, crucial operator to make all the verticality happen once they have gotten the proper control. So that's definitely a big loss here for the side of PBX.
Definitely that one play, it seems to cost him an arm and a leg, and a Pete of all players. Claw coming out for another flank. I believe someone's on the lookout for them, though, especially on that spiral side. Regora! SilentFamily looking like they could finish it off any second. PBX, this is the last lifeline you have within regulation. You can keep it, but you need these 3 players to work together. Going on yellow, both D players, they are very close up, while we have the majority of SilentFamily on these upstairs, being a bit away from sight. And yet again, very decisive, ready to strike. He's in a bit of a sandwich, a bit of a cone of players, one on the left, one on the right, one on stairs, and if you want to take an approach, Rogora's going to have to say something about it. Jugu, he gets taken out and nicely spotted, but we still need 2 more. SilentFamily, you are tending it down to the final seconds. Timu, he's on to Fod, and the last one is spotted. Nicely done in Dust 1, but isn't good for the second. Glock is going to be there, waiting to back up, and of course, work with his teammates to get that quick refrag. Greatly played here by Silent. They always upkept this side of, I'd say, leverage. Even into the first 4 rounds, they were the ones with the 3-1. Going in after the draw, they picked it back up. It was the 5-3, and now finally the 7-5.
Yeah, beautiful first map here from the SilentFamily, their own map pick. So in some way, somewhat expected for them to be successful. But 7-5 is a very close scoreline, if you ask me. A bit too close for comfort potentially, but this also just really means that these two teams are very well matched together. Like I said, I believe these were the fourth and fifth seeded teams from the Swiss stage, so they were very close to each other there as well. They didn't play against each other in the Swiss stage, but it's just really showing why they were so close and both got out in the fourth round of the Swiss stage. Very comparable skill level. Yeah, basically skill level, but very comparable performance. And this really shows that this could potentially be a very interesting and very close match.
Without a doubt. But before we head into the second map, which is going to be none other than Border, PBX, you lost the first one. Can you win out on your own? We're going to have to see in just a moment. But before we get to that moment, we'll take a
Mhm.
short little break and we'll be back with you in just a second.
See you in a moment.
Well, we said a second. It may have been just a lot more than that, but in the end, you know what we meant. We're here after a moment, and that moment is going to be map number 2, Border, and none other than it, the most fragile map. This is where all action comes to tens. You can throw out strategies right out that right window because it's about to get hot. Now, of course, it's still me, Puffle Bob. It's still Bows on the right. And how are we feeling going into Border?
Well, Border, of course, the map pick of PBX, where PBX just lost the map pick of SilentFamily. So if map picks have a meaning, have a say, then we might expect a bit more of PBX. And expecting a bit more is exactly what they need, because the 7-5 was a very close scoreline. If they just do a little bit better, then this might become a 5-7 on the map of PBX, which then would just take us to the decider map. But yeah, just having a little bit of the favor of your own decided map might just be just enough for PBX to be victorious as well.
It's going to the decider, or it's finishing it for SilentFamily. Which one will the scale go with? We're gonna have to see. It's Border. We've mentioned it. Guns and arms, blazing left, right, and center. This is what we're looking into, and we're looking forward to another fantastic match. The previous one was quite close, I'd say. Definitely the score shows that as well. In the end, though, SilentFamily were really upkeeping that side of consistency. The rounds were up. Definitely the majority of when they had the leverage, and they started running with it time after time again. Can they do it again, or will PBX reign in what they seek comfortable? We're about to see. Let time tell. We go into these operator bands, and here, honestly, I don't expect anything else just out of the ordinary. I expect a Monty. I expect something like a Blitz. And then, of course, on the defense, we can still stick around that Valkyrie, Azami, maybe even Castle would be interesting to see, but the cards be revealed. And the first one is going to be, unsurprisingly, a shield operator.
Shield operator, not surprising. We have seen the same thing on the very previous map, which Blitz was one of those band operators as well. So if we would see a repetition of the next previous map, then it's going to be Monty as the next band operator. However, on a map like Border, I could imagine there's some other very valuable attacking banners you could ban, but a Monty would definitely not be surprising. But no, it's actually Brava, one of the lesser band operators in the competition, or at least not in the top three. Actually, no, she is in the top three. She is number three most banned attacking operator with a 21 bans total, 18.9%, so just make it 19%. So still quite often, but just not as often as that Monty, which usually gets banned 62% of the time.
That means Monty is allowed to be played as far game, and if both these teams seek him out as the better to be kept than banned, and of course, putting his little angry brother, the Blitz, in front of him, then so shall it be. We could see some Monty plays. We definitely will. Both of these teams know how to play and use that so-called powerhouse that's in the current meta, as the last ban is going to be on the Azami yet again. The Mirror Azami bans, they're really the exact same as we saw them on Consulate. But how will this play into Border? A lot differently, but at the same time, we won't see them. So what's the change? Well, it depends on what we're going to pick. I'm definitely looking forward to that utility and information, specifically information, because what do you need when you're shooting around the corner? You need to know that someone's there. That's why we have the Malusi. That's why we have the Dokkaebi already picked out. At the same time, if you do walk out quite injured of a gunfight, the doc is going to be there to patch you up. And Pete, That's the Valkyrie I was aiming for. And in the meanwhile, since this is border, verticality can also be included. We did see some Ram action, which is going to be, I think, quickly picked up. I don't think Ram is going to be the best operator on the site. Maybe we get some use out of her. But Glocks, Flores is definitely something to look forward to. Not only is it going to take out a lot, but it's that key positioning that it counters. You have people playing in CC behind the pillar, trying to really waste as much time, maybe go for a rotation on 90, and it's going to be the Flores that flushes him out, but surprisingly, the Flores gets traded out for a Twitch.
Yeah, you want to know something cool, Puffabop? We were talking about side statistics a lot in the previous map, and well, border is actually the most equally sided map that we have in ESA Cup at the moment. Border has been played a total of 10 times, and the win percentages right now for border are 49.1 attacking side in favorite versus 50.9 defensive favorite. That's the most equal sided map, the most balanced map that we have in this competition. So this means a lot to me. This really means that the 3-3 would definitely be a good scoreline for either of these two teams, where on console this wasn't per se the case, but here for border it would definitely be so. And well, with PBX picking this map, I have to say, like, I'm expecting a little bit more from them compared to the side of SilentFamily, but at the same time, border might as well be a pretty good for them as well. So I have high expectations for this map.
A bit more usage of that mute would be advantageous, seeing as, of course, information is quite key. Early damage dropped onto Ollie's, he stemmed right back up, and that's why we love the dog, the French medic, if we consider him as one in the end. He isn't just a medic, as, of course, Pizza, he's using that MP5, gunning one down. That's going to be an early pick. Earlier can be confirmed, but is soonly after by Tamu. Vod, not having any choice. He's just going to be getting taken out by Fed, and that gun is definitely going to be putting use into it. In the meanwhile, still round one. We still have so much time, and these teams really are proving why border is the #1 map when it comes to gunfights, and of course, when it comes to how positive you are in winning them.
Yeah, but the 4 vs 4 this round is now continuing. Half of the time still remaining, which the attackers need to work with, of course, as they need the time, all the time they can get. And Timo is doing very well on finding Sutter. That's one more defender taking care of It's the dog losing his life. Regora with the kill there onto Pete as well. Oliver getting a lot of trouble and getting finished by Marcus, and Regora with the final kill there onto Pizza. And this once again secures the very first round here for the side of SilentFamily, starting off with a nice 1-0 scoreline.
Definitely round 2 underway. SilentFamily, they keep up what they lost earlier, and this is going to be that first opening. SilentFamily here, they lost the previous final round, and they're going to continue it into the first. Going round 2, we're still going to be upkeeping this top floor, as PBX do want to give it a second shot. Rocking basically the same lineup, just switch out that Frost, and also quick onto the Mute, which I love seeing yet again. That's going to be fantastic. Yet again, information denial is going to be key, especially when you have a Togepi, especially when you have so much drones just roaming around every single corner. The Ram's still in play. I don't know if it's a pick purely because of the R4C, just so you can have 2 of the fraggers using that stronghold of a gun, or maybe quick pushes in with the windows, get some pushes in, maybe upset some verticals. I have no clue why the Ram here would be used, but if it works out, SilentFamily, they won a round, they can surely do it again.
Yeah, SilentFamily here on the offense, starting off pretty well, getting a nice opening round here for the second map, even though they're already having a 1 map point secured, of course, on console with the previous map of this evening, of this matchup. So a nice little starter for SilentFamily. The side of PBX just going for the same bomb set again, which makes total sense. Just doing a little bit better, the right adjustments, and also the knowledge of your opponent can definitely help you to pull off things a little bit better than you did before, and a little bit better could already be enough in theory. So I'm really curious to see how PBX will adjust to what they have learned from the very previous round.
There's going to be the Twitch coming in beautifully, taking out some utility. Could be a quick push, and Rogora being sneaky. You don't need no Nook to come around corners undetected. The camera isn't even being watched. Ash charge in there to interrupt a lot of positivity and at the same time comfortability in your position going towards that office side. In the meanwhile, this could be a quick confrontation. The Legion Good lets it be known, laying down on rafters. In the meanwhile, a lot of people pushing in, but this Legion, he's holding his ground. Node's walking through his setup, and in the meanwhile, that's going to be Ali with 1, and just as we talk about him, he falls to the hands of Rogara. Vergara or for C. And in the meanwhile, Jagu, that's going to be another one. Souther, he puts him right 6 foot under.
And nice 3 versus 4 score, lineup, as I should say, man count, as I should say. A 3 versus 4, nicely done here. 1 minute and 45 seconds in the favor here of the defensive side. So PBS definitely fighting back compared to the previous round. But of course, you also need to be very careful because 1 kill could equalize it, and 2 will cause them to lose the man count here. But at the same time, the side of SilentFamily has suffered some damage as well, which definitely is not going to be favorable for any future gunfights. So yeah, the side of PBX definitely in a decent position here, and with the time also working in their favor. They just need to hold back SilentFamily as long as they can, do some more damage, and then hopefully they will be fine.
Falling short of players for an extra 1 as they do return it back to this 1-man deficit. Looking great here. SilentFamily, you do lose out on 1 but regain the other. It's a nice little trade-off. Yet again, we need to get that leverage back up and running, and it's not going to be done with Vergara taking early damage into this final situation. The prep isn't made. The execution definitely is going to be flawless, as you tend to want to go off of these 1v1 situations. Pings are coming out, and speaking of such, this could be a great way to take up 1. Pick it up, get that 2v2, move up to metal, and take some extra rotation cutoff. This could be a great position, and Glocky's on it. Can he win out the gunfight? Certainly! Ooh. It's going to be a second kill. Double 1 for himself. 30 seconds on the clock, and this is a quick fight. This is going to be ended within a matter of seconds. Yet again, we're wasting so much time here. The SilentFamily is going to need to put up that, yet again, known burst, that execution they're so well known for. Taking some damage and downing out on the Twitch. You do not scout out the entire site. A pre-fire comes in, downs out the Frost. The smokes are out, and you finish the job. Good shots, but you have 10 seconds remaining, and you're up against a fully loaded Pizza. Bolts are in, and at the same time, HP laying down pings around. But in the end, Vergara, what a headshot, finding it out and claiming out the second round in a row.
Beautiful round here from the offensive side. The second round on the row indeed. Really nicely setting the tone at SilentFamily. Even though this is PBS map, it can be very capable on a map like Border as well. Like once we're in the playoffs, so you're like in the top 8 teams. 8 teams have been eliminated, and you're part of the remaining 8 teams. It really comes down to who is the better team. There's no chances for, or there's not as many chances or room for error like there was in Swiss. Yes, of course, it's double elimination, so you can still technically afford to lose this matchup and still have a chance in the lower bracket and go for a lower bracket run all the way to the grand finals. But that's definitely not a position you would like to be in. And well, this is really where the better teams get the good teams get differentiated from the best teams in this competition.
Seeing as the statistics earlier were mentioned, this is an even-sided map, although attackers do tend to have a bit more of an up-head when it comes to guns. In the end, it's the defenders that have much more intel, so it trades out nicely between. What doesn't trade out is the score. It's 2-0, already a 2-round deficit, which was quite rare earlier, especially on the map sided towards SilentFamily. But PBX, this is your own. You're losing out very early on. The most you can get is a 4-2, which would be preferable in the first half, and at the same time, also seeing that this is your pick. This is what you feel comfortable as. It doesn't mean that SilentFamily are bad at it, but at the same time, you should be able to back up what you pick. And going off of it, SilentFamily, they're rocking quite an unusual setup. We do still see those guns, but it's less of information gather and more just win out gunfights. We saw that in the last 2v2 or 2v1, which was pivoting towards PBX, but still won out by Vergara, who did an amazing job at flushing out every single player. Nice pre-fire on the Frost to execute off of that so-called given information by your down teammate. But again, SilentFamily, they have such a slow approach at times, but in the end, it's just that ending that they just can't contest. PBX, they really have no way of answering it. And of course, if we don't adapt and overcome, it's going to be a similar situation all the way up until SilentFamily win out map number 2.
Yeah, SilentFamily definitely doing very well so far. Already doing a pretty good job on making a quick entry, like already here inside of the very front lobby. But Pete just waiting there, fighting that very first player, and already taking him out very early on. Maybe a little bit too aggressive and careless here from the SilentFamily. A little bit of too much risk taking. But luckily, there's Vergara there, getting another kill there onto the side of Pizza. Timo with a kill onto Vod, and Pete with a kill onto Marcus, which brings things to an equal 3 versus 3. Pete with a kill onto Vergara, Sutter with a kill onto Timo, and suddenly it's Glock all left standing, which then gets found by Pete, and suddenly within a very short amount of time this round is all over, and PBX finally secures their first round here on the defense.
Finally looking and now rolling out that natural 20 they were so wishing to do so is going to be the 2-1. We pick it back up for 1. PBX, you have the tempo. We haven't seen a single tactical timeout from neither of these teams, and I doubt we're going to be seeing it into border, and possibly one is going to be deciding to pull it out. But to bury the hatchet and get this equalization through, this next round is key. Yet again, allowing SilentFamily to climb up the ladder of that first half rounds count any longer is going to be really dangerous, and the narrative is going to be turning towards them. Pick up the pen, start writing, and get to winning. That's the situation. It may be a bit simpler to make it sound than rather doing themselves, but PBX, you're working on the defense, you're allowing them to come to you. You have a lot of ways to time waste because SilentFamily, although they're at the same time a slow team, you also have a lot of aspects to play off. We've only seen the majority of it has been this upsize. It's been, 3 rounds up until now, and that's not the best. The fact that we've lost 2 of those rounds upstairs and could be a potential 3rd here for SilentFamily. Switch up sites, go ventilation, go bathroom, whatever it cates to be. This is not a map like Clubhouse or Chalet where it's really dependent off of what you prefer, but a bit more of what you can work with. Yet again, you're working up against a team that is using guns a lot more than information, although we have been seeing this Dokkaebi, and of course the drones have been all around the place. It's not like we're working against such a huge threat. Yet again, you're on the defense. Cozy up while you still can, because that blanket is going to be gone once you head into the second.
Yeah, one of the things we didn't really have the time to go over earlier were the player statistics. And one of the players that immediately catch... Oh, okay, let's say for later VOD, starting off with a very nice opening kill and headshot there onto Jugo for a very risky and a very rewarding run out in this case, as the Legion just running out from this door of break room, which just got opened by the attacker, just running out, finding the ram. Very valuable player here for the side of SilentFamily. We're already getting fouled very early on. Beautifully done by Regora with a nice refrag there, or response onto VOD by taking care of that Legion, who just got the kill onto his teammates. Meanwhile, we do see Marcus being injured on the floor, but I do think that we will see him getting revived, as he's in a very safe position, really.
Oh, that's not going to be the best. No, not at all. You still haven't picked up your Dokkaebi, and you've already lost 2 players in the process.
Wow.
What happened? They have a dock. You want to take headshots, and you don't claim a single one. And speaking of the dock, he stims himself back up. You barely get the kill with a pistol, take some damage in the meanwhile, and the chemistry here for SilentFamily has completely fallen off. The aggression from PBX just keeps on swinging, not giving them a grasp of air, choking them out. That's going to be Souther. The L2A3 coming about for a second round, and getting round number 2, I believe, over for PBX. They equalize it out. It's round 5, and this is the exact same look we had earlier on Consulate.
That's crazy. Like, in about 3 minutes of time, like just 3 minutes of time, we have seen 2 rounds go to the side of PBX. How do I know it? I have the stream open on my other monitor, and we have a 3-minute stream delay, and there it's still 2-0. It's now turning into 2-1 right now. So in less than 3 minutes, we had 2 rounds go to the side of PBX, where usually a whole round takes 3 minutes, plus a big phase and a preparation phase, which is just crazy. So that was 2 incredible, very fast rounds. Also why I didn't get a chance to talk about the statistics I was trying to talk about. Because the thing I was trying to say, we haven't had the time to talk about it earlier, but one of the things that caught my eye, we might pull the visual later, but one of the things that caught my eye was Regora, who only played 1 map for the side of SilentFamily before, but he is on a 2 KD, which is pretty insane if you ask me. Look at him right now. He's on 7-2. When I was trying to talk about him for the very first time, he was on 6-0 and then 6-1. But I was on 7-2. He's doing so well in terms of KD, which is just insane. He might be one of the highest KD players in this competition even.
It took 2 jabs from PBX for SilentFamily to realize they need some protection and to actually block out all that damage. Finally, it's the Monty! He isn't banned and these teams recognize it. Also, Regara on that, on the sense. The buff hasn't happened yet, players. We need to wait a bit. I mean, I love the gun. That's one of the reasons I really love Sense, is the POW9 that is so fantastic and out there, really different from all the other guns, really satisfying to use, and also not to even keep out Mercs, who has the Ying on board and no Wharton to counter him. This could be so aggressive and overwhelming, and SilentFamily, if we remember earlier bows, they were also the ones who did the fuse rush on Consulate.
Oh yes, that would definitely be a great thing to see on this map as well, as they are getting for a very quick entry. Already entering into bathroom right here, just one soft wall away from the bond site. Ash ready with a grenade launcher, opening up this wall. Monty rushing in, and this is the moment where they are indeed going for that rush. Very well run into Buffalo. Nicely
Oh
predicted.
no.
Monty going for the plants, shield on the back, sends to protect him, to hide him from his opponent. However, the fusion has been planted, but Ollie and Sutter each getting one kill. Regardless, the kill there onto Ollie puts it in a 3 versus 4 situation with just 35 seconds remaining. Another player being injured. In this case, it's the Fog, who is being revived by the stim pistol off the dock, so he's fully back in the play. But as two people fall on the side of SilentFamily by the hands of Pete, it's a 2 versus 3. Make it a 1 versus 3. As then suddenly Fog gets the final kill there onto Regora, and with plenty of time remaining, there's enough time to go for the defuse here. And it's side of PBX adding yet another round here to the boards, putting the score on 2-3.
Oh, SilentFamily, you can't play PBX like a fiddle for a second time, you know? First time, shame on you. Second time won't be shame on them. PBX, they are ready for it. Even with one player only on site, the verticality, and yet again, it was that sandwich, I would say, potential to just completely rush over them. They were around and they started choking and slowly closing in until they had them in their very grip. Logic Black X, great counter, even when working against flashes, smokes. Monty, who did get sent to the afterlife with that C4, which was really, you may not have seen it, but I was almost dying because there was one frame of the Monty planting, and the second where he was trying to run away from the C4, he was just out of it. He was flying through the air. Call him an airplane, whatever you want to, but he was definitely out, making himself be aware. But it's a third round for PBX. This time, it's a bit of a switch. SilentFamily, earlier it seemed like, they were losing the tempo. They were up again. They got themselves the 3-2 as well, but now it's PBX on it. So that really shows the nice little, I'd say, yin and yang between the two. That shows both of these teams, they're a good rival. They can back up their own map. But can we build off of this blueprint that is the first half? We get a 4-2 PBX here. You get yourself a really comfortable attack. SilentFamily 3-3, you go over to the defense, and hopefully you don't have to work against this Monty because you've been only using him for the second round, and this is the final one you can unless it goes overtime. Now, taking it into advantage, we finally go into a site that is very uncommon to be seen, and with it, hopefully, SilentFamily can back up this third.
Yeah, 2-3 splits for a 2-3 score, 3-3 split definitely possible, 2-4 split also possible. Either of the two would not be the worst thing, not to be the best thing either, but a 2-4. I mean, the stuff for PBX would definitely be more favorable than the 3-3, and that's of course what they are looking for. The last defensive rounds, which in general should be more favorable in a way. Like in a way, Siege is still a defensive favorite game, mostly. Not as much on this map than others, but still in general it is. And especially with all the verticality they have created, they can defend their own bomb site from above, can fall back whenever things get too hot, so they can really slow down their opponents. But the attackers, of course, they are getting ready to make a quick entry here. Smokes are coming out, Logic also come out. The Monty already finding his way in, doing a bit of shots there towards the Warden, not landing any shots. But Timo, however, getting the first kill onto Sutter when a Pizza gets a kill there onto Timo. So that's a nice refrag. The Doc loss versus the Dokkaebi, a bit of a loss for either of the two teams, I would say. But hey, Ace going for a plant.
What is happening? A double kill here for Silent. They go for the plan. They canceled it out. Something must have went wrong. Definitely not. Rogora, he was just waiting for that opportunity. Pete, you're left in a 1v4, and you get swung out by that FAMAS. Absolutely no response, as if the nerve wasn't even struck in the first place. Walks right into those bullets. And of course, a bit of friendly sportsmanship at the end is going to be bringing us to a 3-3. It's the same score. It's the similar playstyle, and nothing has changed since Godzilla. We need some adaptations here, players. PBX, if you want to win this out and you don't want to have another 7-5 situation, pick it up, because SilentFamily, they're not letting go of those shields. Jugo already on the clash.
Well, so far of this first round here of the playoffs, this is definitely the most close matchup that we have seen so far. 2 3-3 splits in a row here on both of the two maps that we have seen. So from here on, again, the game really go anywhere, especially on a map like Border. It's so equally matched, so well balanced between the two sides that you can play on. It was really hard to say which of the teams should now be beneficial. Now we have seen the role swap happen, because of course we are now seeing SilentFamily on the defense and PBX on the offense. And PPX might be, SilentFamily might be one of those more aggressive teams. Really, already had a really nice chance to utilize that aggressiveness onto on the offense. Now they're on the defense. The aggressiveness might not favor them as much. However, when they were playing on the map of Consulate, we did see them play quite aggressively on the defense as well, catching them some members of PBX off guard at some points, but also risking their lives unnecessarily, which caused PBX to get some free kills as well.
Using what they can to their strength, pulling out the Monty at the very hard start is going to be Pizza. Now, he's been quite dominant in the previous round, a bit less into this one, and that's why you put him behind such a safe position. That metal play, really not only to secure some lives of his teammates, but his own in the process to maybe risk it out while baiting out some C4s, whatever the case ends up being. How are we going to take out Jagu? Now, we've seen so much plays around the CC side, but none of them have really lasted long because, yet again, you get shut out, the floor drone, the Twitch, all of them clear out utility, and the players too, as of course the Twitch is going to be a nice little backup if anything does tend to go wrong. Good start here for Timu. He finds Silent at first, and this is going to be a great way to get into the second as it shuts down the line. Yet again, Line and Monty work really well together. When Monty spots an opponent into this corner, you send out a line, and either he's going to be spotted out, possibly wallbanged, or this Monty's going to get to him and personally take care. Oh, some early damage onto Jagu. You want to back off as the Clash. Yet again, this is going to be a great way to counter that Monty, and we want to keep her safe. Timu, he gets on it, stems the Clash back up, and of course, we're still at an advantage towards SilentFamily.
Yeah, indeed, advantage here for SilentFamily as they're fighting us in 5 versus 4, so one attacker down. Ash also quite a bit damage, and the Monty also taking 25 damage as well. So an HP advantage here for the defensive side, especially as Timo gets a killer onto vods, while Marcus did lose quite a bit of HP, but could be healed up if he managed to connect back up with that Doc, who still has some pistols available. I think we're going to see that happen very soon from here. But for now, it's the Clash getting found off guard here by the side of Pete, who gets a killer onto Jugo. Timo with a kill onto Pete, which brings us to the 4 versus 2, double the amount of people alive on the side of SilentFamily versus side of PBX. Definitely a tricky situation for them.
Oh, and the last one standing is sadly going to be Pizza, as expected. In the end, though, what was happening there, PBX? Did you see how big of an opportunity that was? We had an Ash in sight. Bring the two players, make that an entry. You had Armory under control, you had the Clash out of the point, and now just make it your point and push in. That's what I was talking about. Pete Heath sneaks up on behind. If there was someone backing up Pete, it could have ended in Timu being traded out. A 3v2 with you also having contention in sight, and in the meanwhile, completely passing through all utility. That's a huge advantage, but PBX, they just don't play off of it. One player goes in alone, while the other two are stuck behind, maybe a bit delayed, or maybe unrecognized of what the hell is actually happening. Fourth round, SilentFamily, they win it out, and they do so gracefully, while at the same time, it was reasonable. They played it out really well. They played as a team because we saw a lot of double swings, especially out from that half walk, which made any single person from PBX that wanted to make a kill out of it just not win any gunfight. Yet again, PBX, we need to play a bit more closer. SilentFamily, yes. And again, let's sink into the boring fact that defense, they're a bit more close. It's their side. Whatever. The attackers stick together. Go into a 3-2 formation. Go into 2-1. Whatever the case ends up being, don't let an Ash walk into sight alone and then lose that huge opportunity you gained. No. Play off of it. You have so much openings, but they close them down themselves.
Yeah, as we have seen how the Clash is really helping the side of the defense here, at least as long as she's not playing too aggressively and doesn't get surprised from the side, she can be quite effective here from this, on the defense. And well, we can really see how SilentFamily was able to utilize the shield operator once they were on the offense. Excuse me. And now they've gone to the defense, they are utilizing it as well in a very good way. Of course, different bomb site now as they now play on the ground floor, but the defender's definitely going to utilize the top floor as well, keeping it out of the hands of the attackers, which can really utilize it to attack the bomb site from above and make it very difficult to play on site. And which the defenders can also use it to defend their own bomb site from above as well. The question, however, is what are the attackers going to do? Are they going to completely ignore the top floor and going to target the weaker ground floor right now, or are they going for this top floor and try to contest with this Clash?
I don't know. We see some breaches, and we see players on this turtling outside to confirm someone's there. As of course, while we were talking about those Selmas, they won't be in use any longer thanks to Glock. A big heads up here for SilentFamily. They're still on the aggressive side and ready to take a gunfight any second, while also the diffuser being dropped right onto the floor here is going to be a bit of a time waste. And yeah, while we do need to take this upside, it's definitely, yet again, verticality is quite key here, and putting it, you also give yourself that upper part on the pedestal. You really get yourself above the enemy if you get out safely, but at the same time secure a lot of ground that connects the side, which also allows post plans and of course that takeover initiative. That's a good kill for Ali. But Timo, yeah, he's not really a fan of it, to say the least. Neither is Rogor as he falls. But Timo for a second, Bozji is there. It's a kill-to-kill, back-to-back. We're just exchanging in a 2v2 situation. We don't have that dock any longer, so Timo, you have that 22 HP. You're going to have to work with it to deliver the first blow of the Bozji. That's what makes that gun so strange, and at the same time, so good. It doesn't matter if you're the one to finally get that kill in. It's going to be this first shot that matters, but don't use the SMG-12. Serdar punishes him for it. It's yet again similar HP here for Mercs as he's fighting against the final two, trying to get a headshot, and so he does onto Pizza. A nice little bullet delivered onto the back. He makes a quick rotation over to this ventilation side, but yet again is this information that's so key in gunfights that we need. Time isn't as low as we might imagine it to be. 35 seconds, still plenty, and a flash is going to be granted. Not only one, but a second two to confirm it. Oh, what a pre-fire from Mercs! He gets another round for SilentFamily, and they keep peeking up the ball time after time again, and they just can't let go of it.
Beautiful play here from the side of SilentFamily. Nice little clutch here in a 1-versus-1 situation. Beautiful done. And this already put SilentFamily on a 5-3 score. If I recall correctly, we have seen a 5-3 scoreline as well on the map of Consulate, which then got turned into a 5-versus-3, and then a 5-versus-3, 5-versus-4, 6-versus-4, and then eventually 6-versus-5, and then 7-versus-5. So we are seeing a bit of a repeat here in the score lines. We have seen these before. The very question is, how will they play out this time around? I believe this is the very first time we're going to see this bomb site buffalo. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen it, right?
It's either been played once and we don't remember it, or this is the first time, because it's always been down to the ventilations upstairs or the third side, which I can't remember because no one ever plays it.
I mean, it's one of those bomb sites that always used to be one of the lesser favorite ones on this map. Yeah. However, since Border has been rebirthed, it has definitely gained some popularity, and it's definitely more playable. Definitely, it is a good bomb site. Like Border is one of those maps.
I feel like it's the bar, Clubhouse's bar. I feel like that's what it plays into. Like, it's playable, but more teams prefer it. Although, if they can manage with it, we're not going to be the ones to stop them.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's one of those bombs that I really like to see. It is gonna so much better, and it's definitely like Border's one of those maps where you can play every single bomb site, but something that cannot play right now this round is Speed, as he got opening kills very early on. There's the Ash saying goodnight here, as it's already a 5-versus-4 win in the very few seconds.
Yeah, smacking the controller right out of Pete's hand. He's definitely going to be disconnected for a little while, at least a round. And SilentFamily, it's 5-3. If it comes to 3-6, this is going to be huge, and that's the direction we're aiming for. The arrow's already pointing at it. With this 5v3 established and announced right on the kill feed, right in front of everyone. PBX, what's happening? You lost it so quickly.
Yeah, PBX definitely not having the luck, the favorability here that they were hoping to find on their own map pick. A 5-versus-3 with still 5 defenders still alive, 3 attackers still mostly outside of the building as far as I'm aware as well. So definitely not a good position for them to be in. And well, they will need to find a way into the building, get some of those opening kills to still find some success. 2 kills from the attacking side will equalize the man count, which will suddenly make things very, very possible and look a lot more favorable for them. But Spitzner gets a kill onto Glock, and Ollie gets a kill onto Timo. That's exactly what I mean. We're now suddenly finding ourselves on a 3-versus-3 man count.
Oh, this clash is dirty. You want to push down these, but you're denied. You're slowed and zapped in the meanwhile. Of course, Striker not having the best of luck of who he tends to go up against. 48 HP on Pizza. That's a bit just 2 below half, so nothing major. But again, 1 bullet or 2, depending on the gun, is going to be the final one. If Mercs decides to take up that TCSG up to the fight, it's not going to be the best. Not at all. And in the meanwhile, yeah, we're just going to be sorting out some production, and I'll be, yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. It's a 3v3 here. Bulls, I'll let you take over, and I'll see if there's anything on my side.
I'm ready for you bastards.
Well, we seem to have some technical issues right here, as there's some audio issues here on the casting side. But apparently, it's a 3 versus 2 right now with the Silent Family here
Can I
in
be
the
heard on
lead.
stream?
PBX here on the offense in a tricky situation. Wait, can I be heard? Yes, I can be heard. Okay, I was just making sure. Well, yeah, the 5 versus 2 situation here. In the favor of Silent Family, PBX here still on the offense, where they really need to work with the time. Very limited time. The Clash almost getting found. That would have been a crucial killer for the offense, but instead, no. It's Rigor going to kill the Pizza, Vod with a kill on Marcus, and Hugo with a kill there onto Vod, I believe it was. And it's yet another round here to the side of Silent Family, who now finds himself on a 6-3 scoreline.
6-3. Now, I have no clue what's happening. I don't know where Project Blank X
So apparently
lost.
we are having issues that me and Poofable cannot hear each other. I'm just asking production in what extent we can make this happen via vmix. I can still. Oh, you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can.
That's interesting.
We just seems like Bose can't seem to hear me. I don't know what the
I cannot hear
case
Poofo,
is.
so that's a bit of a tricky one. Poofo, just take over for a sec.
Yeah, okay. It's a bit confusing right now, so I'll just take over for a slight minute. Now, if we look back, I mean, Project Black X, where did it all go wrong? On the defense, you always seem to have this really upstanding fight. There are aggressive moments, but yet again, this is the aggressive map. Don't lose them. It's always Silent Family who take up the proactivity and are the first ones to take up these gunfights. But in the end, even if they do tend to lose a player on the two, they're definite to get that profit. They're definite to get that the stock chart just really going up high into the sky as much as they can for them, mostly because of the fact that even in a 6-3 position right now, PBX, it's not the point that you're underperforming or anything like it. You're just not counteracting what you're given. Yet again, they have so much opportunities, they lose them, they drop them. In the same time, they have so much ways of opening it up themselves, but I don't know if they're scared, if they don't want to work with each other, whatever the case tends to be. It just isn't working out currently. It's going to be, Silent Family still reaping off of their own benefits. They're working with what they've got, and they're really making it work out through. 6-3 here. And, yeah, we're just going to have to see how this goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6-3, crucial point here for Silent Family. There's only one more round to close down this match in their favor with a 2-0 score. But also crucial situation for PBX, of course, because this is their map pick. They're 3 points down. They need to win 3 rounds in a row right now to still win their own map pick in their own favor. So very difficult situation for them to be in. They need to perform right here and right now. And, well, of course, that is going to be very important. There's no room for error for PBX. And well, of course, the side of Silent Family is in a good position where they can actually, have afford some mistakes.
Mistakes, Glock. Oh, he shredded out just like he got himself that opening. But Pete, he's on an absolute massacre. Piling up bodies, not only 1 but 2 in the count. That's going to be a great way of having it done through. Pete's on low HP. Could be ended out with the Z4. Sadly, I do believe Ragora does have it. Stock still there to stim it out. Nice little explosion through. And Ragora, he finds himself a nice kill in the meanwhile. 2v2, low HP onto Pizza. PBX yet again, you're losing that composure. As Pete, he finds himself 1. All this needs to do is to shoot out the feet of this final Monty who doesn't have anything to live up for it. Oh, that's going to be the explosive right below the shield player. It's 7-3 for Silent Family. PBX do end on a 0-2, and that's going to be quite a click sweep.
That's indeed a very, very good round here for the side of Silent Family. A very good match, a 7-3, even better than the previous map was for them. A 7-3, first a 7-5, then a 7-3, even on the map pick of PBX. So very well done here. We had a bit of a weird issues here, Poop of a Bob, on the very last few rounds of this map. Suddenly we were having some audio issues where we couldn't hear each other anymore. But in the end, we have seen what happened. We have seen the match being played, which is the most important part. And, well, Silent Family just doing so much better on the second map compared to the previous map of them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they go up against each other. I feel like it's also a nice little exchange between the two. You know, the losing team of these go up against the losing team between LDL and
Mhm.
Asgard, and the winner stays at the very top. So I think all of these following matchups are going to be absolutely insane. Which, speaking of, have we take
Their
a look at
brackets.
what's going to be happening on Monday? What teams are going to be fighting there, and why should you be tuned? That's what I'm excited for. Are you excited, Bose?
I'm definitely excited for what we're going to be seeing next week. Because next week, of course, we have 2 upper brackets semifinals and then 2 lower bracket round 1 matches. So that's what we're going to be seeing next week. So just waiting for the bracket to be pulled up. It should be somewhere, but it's just loading up here from the production side. But eventually we will get to see it so we can actually talk a bit more in depth. But I can already, oh, actually, no, there it is. We can actually see here on Monday, we have Asgard versus SilentFamily. So SilentFamily, the winner of today, will play against Asgard on Monday. This is then followed by the match on Tuesday, which is going to be Entropy versus Molotov Gang Gaming of Molotov Gang. And then on Wednesday, the lower bracket matches, which are also unlimited overtime matches, by the way, Pufo, as those are elimination matches. We have LDL versus PBX and Cook versus Wit. I mean, I don't know, but if it was up to me, I would have definitely preferred to win today's match and then potentially lose in the next match. Because if you lose the next match, of course, SilentFamily, let's say SilentFamily wins the round 2 of the upper bracket, or like the semifinals of the lower bracket, of the upper bracket, they will drop to the second match of the lower bracket and will not meet LDL or PBX, but it would instead meet the winner of the match of Cook versus MG Wit. That would definitely be my preferred side. But well, right now it's SilentFamily versus Asgard and LDL versus PBX, which are both extremely difficult matches.
Well, in the history, it was PBX that ended up winning the 2-0 in the best of 3. Now SilentFamily has slowly climbed up the ladder. Can PBX do the same, break themselves up to the grand finale, and also maybe even challenge SilentFamily again if it does come down to it? We're going to have to see. It's still a long run, but in the meanwhile, it's really getting to the start or the beginning of the end, as of course, these matches here are going to be really intense. Keep an eye out for them. Every single ESA notification should be your prioritization.
Oh
But
yeah.
in the meanwhile, this is going to be it. I believe we're going to have to slowly close it down as it always comes to an end. Just like everything else, it was a pleasure to do. And of course, as you see below me, Monday, 19:30, just like
Ah,
today, keep an eye out for it.
awesome.
Thank you so much to the players, enjoyers, enthusiasts, and all you viewers, chatters who are there to support your teams. Thank you so much to the production, Nanos being an absolute carry in the background to make sure everything goes nice and clean. Oz, thank you for stepping in and making sure this is not going to be a solo cast for me, because it was a pleasure to work. And any final closing thoughts?
Of course, I also want to thank Ogon, our observer, for tonight. Let's not forget about him as well. But yeah, in general, it was a pleasure to be here. It's been some time since you have seen me on the cast, as I'm a bit more in the background these days. But I'm always happy to come back, especially whenever I'm needed. And I had a pleasure. It was a great game. And I'm very excited for the matches of next week. So for now, I wish everyone a very good evening and also a very good weekend ahead. And I hope to see you all next week. See ya.